Hello, students. Welcome back from the break. I hope you had an awesome one. Those of you who are in my new on-site class, you know that I did not have an awesome break because around Christmas time, my entire family contracted COVID. But we are doing okay. But I am not released to actually come into the school building until January 11th. So you're getting all of my lessons from home. I will be posting them this week. And today we're going to focus on making goals and thinking about what's important to us. And I'm going to take you through a process that maybe you've done before and that will help you figure out what your one word is for the year, your one word goal. Okay, so the materials that you're going to need for today, and you can pause this video in order to collect them. You need some type of writing utensil, whatever your favorite one is. You need a sheet of notebook paper, a half or whole sheet of plain copy paper, and that could even just be the back of something too. It doesn't matter. You're going to take a picture of it and post it on a media album at the end. So as long as you're able to write clearly on it, that's fine with me. And you might want colored pencils, highlighters, or markers. I find that that's helpful to make your one word goal stand out. Okay, so first thing I want you to do is go to the discussion board in Schoology. So it'll be in the Tuesday folder, the discussion board, which will be, and it'll say share it. And in today's discussion board on Schoology, I want you to share your answers to these questions with the rest of your classmates. So first one, if you could visit anywhere in the world, where would you go? I think I would like to go to Ireland. I've never been there. And first of all, I just want to get out of the house. And secondly, I really love Irish literature. I'm reading a book right now from an Irish author, and then I love the Irish countryside and the history, even though it's intensely sad. I would love to go visit Ireland. Another question you want to answer in the discussion board is this true or false to you? Activity does not mean achievement. Are those the same thing? And maybe you would explain there. Who or what inspires you? This could be, a person who's close to you in your family. It could be a famous person, or what is it that inspires you? Maybe if it's not a person, but there's maybe an activity that you do that seems to inspire you to be better, to be more of who you want to be. What are you passionate about and want to do more? For example, last year I took a lot of time to create my own writing, and that is something that I would like to do more. I also would like to, there are some activities that I would like to do in the community I want to do more of. So this is where you would answer that. So I want you to think about that. This has a purpose. It's not just, it is getting to know you, but it is also bringing us to our goal today. And what is the challenge that you want to overcome? For example, a challenge that I have that I'd like to overcome is saying yes to the easy things first and putting off the things that are hard but maybe more fulfilling if I give them a chance. So that's a challenge, or maybe it could be something as concrete as you want to run in a 5K, or you want to make certain grades, so it doesn't have to be, it can be philosophical, or it can be something specific and concrete. So take a moment, pause, and answer those questions in the Schoology discussion board before moving on with the video. Okay, so there is a challenge called the one word goal, and it's all about choosing one word that you want to be your focus for the year. Okay, so John Gordon gives us a framework for finding our one word for the year, and I'm going to play that video for you now.
we must create a positive vision for the road ahead. It's so important to create that vision because if you can see it, you can create it. If you have a vision, then you also have the power to make it happen. But it starts with that vision that aligns everyone in your club, all your associates, to get on the bus and point in that positive direction towards that vision. And then once you have that vision, it's essential that you reinforce it. Because when we leave meetings like this, right, what happens so often? We have our goals, we have our ideas, we have our vision, we go back and everyone's fired up. But what happens a few months later? A few months later, we might lose the vision. So it's so important to reinforce it and to keep that vision alive. It's like marathon runners. When do most marathon runners quit the marathon? At what mile? Just shout it out. Some would say the first mile. No, you're just getting started so you don't give up. I thought it might be the last mile, but the second least amount of people quit in the last mile. Even though they've been running the longest, they've been running the farthest, they should be the most tired, they don't give up. Why is that? You can see it. Because you can see it, you keep on moving towards it, even though you're physically tired and drained. The power of the mind, the power of the vision keeps you moving towards it. Most people quit in the 20th mile. That is where we lose our vision. We're physically tired, we're mentally drained, so what happens? We just stop running. So I want to encourage you, keep your vision alive, and it will keep you alive. And I have found a powerful way to keep our vision alive. And it's a one-word vision. One word that we can all use to be our driving force for the year. A one-word vision/purpose. So 3 years ago, I started doing this, and my word was purpose. I wanted my purpose to be greater than my challenges. So I had my word for the year, and it made such a difference as I traveled all over the place. I focused on my purpose. My wife's word was intentional. She wanted to be more intentional as a mom and stop allowing the distractions from keeping her from being her best. Let's face it, guys, distractions are the enemy of greatness. Would you agree with that? Oh yeah, reality TV exists because people watch it. When I watch the Kardashians, I feel better about my own family. But it's a distraction. So my wife said, okay, no more distractions. She focused on her word of intentional. Even did this with my kids. My 12-year-old son came up with the word focus. He wanted to focus more in school and also on the tennis courts. And my daughter, 14 years old, she came up with her word. It was motivation. Great word for her because she needed it. We're at Pepperdine University. I'm speaking to all the students at Pepperdine. She came with me. I'm done speaking. All the students were running up to my daughter. Jade, is it so encouraging having John Gordon as your dad? Does he just encourage you all the time? She was so serious. She looked at him. She said, yeah, he tries to encourage us, but we don't listen. But you know what? It's okay because she has her own word of motivation. And now that's become a driving force in her life. So my hope, my goal is that everyone here will leave with a word that becomes your driving force for the year. What's gonna drive you to be your best this year? What's gonna drive you to bring out the best in your team? And then I wanna encourage you to actually have every one of your associates come up with their word. If you go to Hendrick Auto, I've worked with them, and you go to their headquarters, you will see a car in the headquarters of all the words of all the employees on the car. Words like commitment and passion and service and teamwork and dedication, and everyone has a different word that's meant for them, but these words they see every day when they come into work, and it's become an inspiration, a driving source to help them be their best. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Have your word, have your vision, and let that create a more positive future of where you want to go this year. One word that will change your life.
Okay, so now that you have seen the video by John Gordon, you kind of understand the concept. Think about what John Gordon has said. He gives us a framework for finding our one word for the year. He says to prepare your heart by looking in, so look in at what's important to you. Discover your word by looking up and around. Think about what really matters to you. And then live your word by looking out among your community. So here's some maybe more concrete steps for you. So the first thing that you want to do in order to come up with your word is to reflect. So I want you to reflect on this past year, 2020 and COVID, that was really filled our year. But I want you to ask yourself these questions. And this is where you'll, on your paper, write down some of these thoughts, okay? So on your notebook paper, jot down whatever pops into your head without self-editing, okay? So just scribble it down. First of all, think about what could I use more of in my life? Do you need peace? Do you need structure? Do you need more fulfillment? Do you need more activity? What is it that you need? What could I use less of in my life? Distractions, haters. Just put it down. What characteristics would I like to have? What is it that you see that you admire about others? Maybe that will be a characteristic that you would want. Do you want to be more dependable? Do you want to be easygoing, more friendly? What is it about others that you see that you want to respond to? By the end of the day, I fill in the blank. How do you feel by the end of the day? Be honest with yourself. And how do you want to feel? Now take a look at your responses. Once you review your responses, you're going to have a better sense of direction and where you would like to go. Where do you want to be by the end of 2021? If 2020 has taught us anything, for me, it's taught me not to take for granted the way I live my life. You're not promised that the way things are is how it's always going to be. And it really makes me more introspective about what is it that I really want about life. And I want to take care of that and take charge. So the next step to find your one word is to visualize. So think about, I know athletes do this all the time, but you need to see what your perfect day would feel like. So the emphasis here is to feel. Think about how you want your morning routine to feel, how you want to feel at work and how you want to feel at school, how you want to feel right before you go to bed. What are the feelings that you want? Visualize that. I also recommend meditating. Some people would even pray. Sit for a couple of minutes and just have some silence and ask yourself, what word do I want to focus on in 2021? That's a simple but effective way to think of a word. It helps if you're in a relaxed state. So whatever you need to be relaxed, of course, if you're at school, don't take your shoes all off and that way, but relax your mind. Don't let other things, filter in with your to your brain. Okay, so listen to calming music and just like have some silence to think of the way you visualize your perfect world. And then the next step is to just create a list. And you can do this here on your notebook paper. So I want you to spend the next few minutes, maybe you don't have to do 10 exactly, but pause the video and just write down a list of words that come to mind, okay? They don't have to be big words that you've never heard of before. But here are some examples that some people have used before. Compassion, intentional, bliss, align, strength, resilience, confidence. You can read this list. So I'd like for you to take a moment, pause this video, and write down words that seem to you to be positive, that are coming to mind while you visualize this way that you want to feel in 2021. The fourth step is to review and refine. So let's review your list now that you've written them down. Circle or highlight 3 words that really stand out to you. Probably you're going to see a theme going on between the words you wrote down. Do any of them make you feel excited or nervous or uncomfortable or maybe at ease? Sometimes it's the words that scare us the most or are the ones that we maybe need to focus on. But when you find your word, it should also bring a sense of peace and empowerment. Think about the words, try them on, see what feels right. This is what's right for you, okay? And then the last step is to now ask yourself this question. Now that you've narrowed your list down to at least 3 words, are you interested in this process or are you committed? There's a video or a guy named John Assaraf talks about this same concept of having this one word goal. And he was asking him questions to determine whether or not he would take a chance and hire him. And he said, so tell me, are you interested or are you committed? Because if you're merely interested, then chances are you're going to make excuses as to why you're not putting forth the effort to make those changes. But if you're committed, you'll do what it takes to bring more of that into your life this year. And then there is another way that you can do this. You can look at your heart, and there's a quiz that's linked here. So you can actually go to this quiz by clicking on the notes page. This is slide number 10. You can click on this quiz, and it will help you figure out maybe some words. So if that process didn't work for you, you can click on this What's Your Word quiz. Now, they're trying to sell a bracelet with these words on it, and maybe that is something that you want to do, but you don't have to. So find the part where it says What's Your Word quiz, and you can answer those questions there, and that might help you narrow down your words. Okay, you can read the rest of the slide that talks a little bit more about this with John Wooden. The next concept about is John Gordon talks about is discover your word by looking up. So once you've prepared your heart, search your mind. It may take you a little bit to come up with the word, but my word was mission-minded last year, and I came to that conclusion because last year I wanted to be more focused on what was really important to me, and I think I did that somewhat because I made this list. I made a commitment, and I made it public with my classes. So last year my word was mission-minded. This year I'm still working on it, but I will share it with you once I get it together. So mission-minded, I wanted to focus on my family. I wanted to focus on what was important to me spiritually. And so what I did, I'll show you. We're going to try to live it, right? So we're going to keep our one word front and center. So we're going to try to personalize it and internalize it. So this is where I'm going to have you write it down and post it in a prominent place, like your planner, your mirror, your locker, anywhere, maybe on a screensaver. You're going to paint your word on a sign, keep a journal. You can write it with a poem or prayer. Pick a song that reminds you of your word, which is what I did. So here's how we're going to do it. So once you think you have a word, maybe you took the quiz or maybe you went through my steps. And either way, you're going to use your personal device maybe to look up synonyms for words so that you may narrow it down. Look up quotes, sayings, proverbs, scriptures to personalize your word so you may see it in all areas of your life. And here's what you're actually going to do for me today to show this. You're going to take out a half sheet of paper to write down your one word. See how I wrote mission-minded on my half sheet of paper? And I colored it in because I wanted it to be clear. And I wrote some words about things I wanted to focus on. So I wanted to focus on eternity. I want to have balance and preparation in my relationships. I want to have compassion. That's a mission. So I wrote all of my mission, things that were important to me as a person around my word. And then I looked for, there were some scriptures and some lyrics from a song that reminds me of it. I wrote those in. And I also wrote myself some, encouraging statements that went along with this. Like I wanted to be a better teacher, and I wrote a scripture in the Bible about he gave some teachers. I wrote some notes about myself, things I wanted to do. So it's one word that reminds you of your goal, but it may be multifaceted. So this is just an example, and I posted that actually on my window next to my desk in my classroom, and every day I took a look at that. Was the way I acted? Did it pertain to my mission, or was it not in my mission? All right, so that's what I did last year. I wanted to be mission-minded, and I would like for you to try to do the same. And I want you to submit your completed one-word page to the Schoology Assignment Media album today, so everyone can see theirs and yours, what you submitted for your one word. And let me go ahead and change this while we're doing the video in 2021. Okay, and you're going to do this on your half sheet of notebook paper or your full sheet. Okay, so I really don't care if it's a half sheet or a full sheet. I want to remind you for the end of the day, so you get credit for everything today, don't forget to do the following. Make sure if you're a virtual student that you answer the attendance question. It's in Schoology. It's a Schoology quiz question. Make sure that you answer the questions on the discussion board that I mentioned earlier in the video, and that you follow all the directions that found in the slideshow. And you post your completed one-word assignment to the media album, and that will take care of today's assignment. Bye guys, have a great day.